They tell us we're fading. They tune into their cameras and say that the fever is breaking, or that we're finally getting tired of the fight, that we're all worn out. But you see, they, whoever they may be, they don't understand the nature of this movement. Every time they try to silence us, every time they try to weaponize the system against us and tear us down, we don't just endure. We harden. We grow. It reminds me of scripture. Being that it's Sunday, I feel like I can quote a little scripture. It reminds me of this moment in the Gospel of John. Jesus had just finished giving a sermon about how his followers would have to eat his flesh and drink his blood in a figurative sense. But many did not understand that what Jesus was saying was not literal. And because they didn't understand, they left Jesus and they stopped following him. It was too much for the casuals. It was too much for the uninitiated. But Jesus knew something. He knew that what's understood does not need to be explained. The crowd, the people who were just there for the miracles and the free bread and fish, they turned their backs and they walked away. They wanted something easy. They wanted something that fit right inside of their comfort zone. Nice, neat, and snug. But Jesus did something that no one thought he would do. He looked at the few who remained, the ones who understood, so they didn't need a long, drawn-out explanation, the ones who had seen the truth. And he asked them a simple question. He said, do you also want to go away? Simon, also called Peter, without hesitation said, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. That's where we are right now. The media, the establishments, the crowd that walked away. They scoff because they do not understand the depth of our conviction. They think this is about one man or one election, but it's about the soul of this country. They can throw every obstacle, every headline, and every expert opinion they want at us. But it only thins out the lukewarm. It only separates the sheep from the goats. It only separates the people who are understanding and deserving from those who are fickle and lukewarm. What is left when you do that is the core. The core is unbreakable. We aren't going anywhere because we've seen the truth of what this country can be. We've seen the vision. We've seen the knowledge. We've seen the strength. And most importantly, we've seen the common sense that the crowd is too blind to see. The opposition thinks they are winning by making things difficult. But all they're doing is proving who truly has the heart to stay. We're still here. We're getting stronger. And we're not going anywhere. That's the scary part. We're smarter. We're bigger. We're faster. We're stronger. We're just more capable all around. And I don't think that they like that very much. Now, everywhere I go, I was on TikTok earlier. I try to stay away from TikTok. I was on YouTube and I see all these people, all these social media talking heads. They're all running the same question, the same quote unquote debate. Why do you still support MAGA? And, people call in. 90% of these people sound like they're paid actors, or they just don't know much, or they're fans of the host. I see a lot of that on Dean Withers. But what's crazy is whenever they actually get someone up who's actually a supporter of MAGA, they find every reason to just rip the person down, or they try to make light of what the person is saying and laugh off everything being said as some type of joke. Here's the problem with this situation. They want to debate MAGA so bad. But let me tell you something. It's not hard to find someone who identifies as MAGA who's willing to debate. That is how literally Donald Trump moved to the position he's in now, by going to debates against Republicans and Democrats and absolutely eviscerating them on the facts. Many people who are MAGA, they have channels all over social media. Every day they're there dropping information, dropping facts, dropping wisdom, kicking knowledge. One of the people I think about the most is Charlie Kirk. These people like Dean Withers and Adam Mockler and all these dudes, they wanted to debate so bad. They want to debate now, right? They're like dudes who were in a gang, but they didn't really do much. But when all the real tough guys in the gang leave, now all of a sudden they're acting like they're gangsta, right? When Charlie Kirk was alive, you couldn't pay these dudes to debate Charlie Kirk. But now that Charlie Kirk is dead, all of a sudden they're the great debaters. They're on their show every day. Who wants to call in? Who wants to debate? It's like, bro, when the big dog of the debate situation or the debate stage was living, you cowards were hiding in your hovels, hoping that no one called you out, hoping that no one called you to debate him. But now that he's gone, you guys are, apparently or allegedly, you guys are taking all comers. Here's my issue with that. Just like those disciples said when Jesus asked them, would they also like to go? If you were to leave MAGA, or if you, for whatever reason, stopped supporting Donald Trump, where would you go? Where would you go? Would you willingly submit your intelligence to people who are not worthy of that, just because you're dissatisfied or you don't agree with some position that Donald Trump or his supporters have taken? Well, I say that makes you weak. I say that makes you undeserving, because you're going to go along with something that you know is wrong just because you don't agree with every single little thing that the person who you know is the best option says or does. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I was on Dean Withers today. Just on his page, he won't ever let me up because he says, I want MAGA, but then when you go and request, he's like pulling up all these people with funny names and they're his fans. They're not really MAGA supporters, whatever, right? And if I was allowed to go up on stage, there's one question I would ask Dean Withers, Destiny, Adam Mockler. Hell, I'll even ask Kamala Harris. I would ask any person, Erica Shante, all these people, I would ask them one question. If the Democrat Party is so good, why is it that they need all of these podcasters to debate people on their behalf? Why is it that you know how good they are more than they know how good they are? That's why when they get on the debate stage with worthy opposition, they're always at a loss for words and they're getting eviscerated. Why is it that when Joe Biden got on stage with Donald Trump, he got absolutely destroyed? Why is it that his followers have to debate after the fact with the supporters of Donald Trump to prove how great Joe Biden was? And they did the same thing with Kamala Harris. Why is it that an army of black women have to tell me how great Kamala Harris is because she's unable to formulate a sentence and let me know how great she is? Hey, look, I'm Brandon. I'm awesome. I'm cool. I'm good looking. I'm handsome and I'm charming. How can you tell people more about me and my qualifications than I can? That's my question. If the Democrat Party is so good, why do they need you to tell me how good they are? They're in control. Why can't they just show me? I live in a state called California, totally dominated by Democrats. Top to bottom, Democrats in the state legislature. And then I drive over to Skid Row. And I say, these people told me that they know about affordability and that they're more qualified to handle the economy than anyone else. But then I look at billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of theft and fraud occurring on their watch. And I say, maybe they're not everything that they said they are. I look at Gavin Newsom. He's going to get the nomination. I'm pretty sure, right? And he tells me how great he is. Well, everyone's telling me how great he is, right? Everyone tells me how great he is, right? And then I look at the news headline from today, $146 billion in Medicare fraud in the state of California under Gavin Newsom's watch. And I say, maybe this guy is not as good as everybody says he is. I see people debate online, and I'm just like, what's so amazing is you seem to know more about the Democrat Party than they know about themselves. And we's black. Both of us are black, but you seem to be able to identify all these benefits that the Democrat Party has bestowed upon black folks that me as a black person can't seem to recall. It's a grift. It's a scam. It's a con. They want you out of MAGA. But let's be real. They have nowhere to take you. They want you in a ideological no man's land. They want to make you ideologically homeless like they are. Throwing all your support behind a bunch of people who will never, ever deliver what they promised. It's like a bad relationship. The person wants you back, but they're not willing to change anything. So why do you want me back if you're not willing to change the way you're moving? Well, because they feel entitled. Just like that person feels entitled to your love and affection and your presence, the Democrat Party feels entitled to your vote. Hey, nigga, support us just because we said so, because you always have. And if you ever stop, we going to come looking for you and we going to show you who's the boss. I could put this better. If you don't know whether to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't black. You remember that? That's exactly what this is. And I, for one, am not a fan of coercion. I am not a fan of fear-mongering. I am not a fan of idle threats. So you know what I'll do? I'll stay exactly where I am. And if you have a better way, tell me about it. And if there's any truth to what you're saying, I might consider following you in that direction. But if you don't have a better way, stop trying to lead me out of the light and into the darkness. Because I found a nice, comfortable spot, and I like it here. Guys, listen. Already we have the detractors in the comments. And I want the detractors. And I'm giving Alan the StreamYard link. But would y'all believe that we done found the second pilot who was lost in Iran? Would y'all believe that that person hid in a ravine, in a crevice for days, waiting to be rescued by the United States military, and that person was successfully extracted from the country where the IRGC was saying, yeah, just land on the ground and we could, if you land on the ground, we gonna get you. Well, we came in. We not only landed, we extracted 2 people. And what did the IRGC do? They didn't do shit. Because they ain't shit. They can't do it. Ain'ters gonna ain't. Ain't what is that? Haters gonna hate and ain'ters gonna ain't. They ain't do nothing because they can't do nothing. And I love it. I love it. Alan, I put the link in the comments for you. MAGA's weaker than ever. Bullshit. Bull crap. I think MAGA's stronger than ever because we done got rid of all the lukewarm, wishy-washy people who were never down in the first place. That's what I think. But really, if you look at politics, MAGA is the only cohesive unit in politics. If you look on the other side of the Democrat Party, it's a bunch of it's a fragmented union of a bunch of people who really don't agree with each other. Guys, listen, you got the radical Islamic terrorists linked up with the transgender community, linked up with the feminists, linked up with the women's rights groups as the transgenders try to go into sports and take away women's rights. And you believe that that coalition is going to last? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. 100%. And all we got to talk about with MAGA is, oh, this person's a pedophile. This person, no proof. I'll give you $100 right now today if you can give me some evidence, proof that Donald Trump is a pedophile. You don't have it. You saying it, but you don't have it. I had someone who's a major Trump hater come up here and admit Trump never was on Epstein Island. Now the women from Epstein Island gonna come out publicly and tell you who were the men victimizing them on Epstein Island. Well, guess what? If we know my boy Trump ain't never been to Epstein Island, they ain't gonna mention his name. You just want to believe it because you don't like somebody. That's fine. But me personally, I'm not throwing out any false accusations because the way I was raised reading a good book. That book was called the Bible. And the Bible said, do not bear false witness. So you know what I do? If I don't know, I don't throw no accusations out until I know and I'm sure. That's called having standards. That's called having morals. That's called having values. You have no values. And if you do have values, like Nas said, your values are so low that your values are no good. So you'll go along with anything as long as you don't feel like it will impact you directly. But how is the world mad that a U.S. soldier was saved from Iran? Tell me that. How are people like pissed off that this troop, that both troops were successfully extracted from a battle area, a war zone, basically? Why the hell would that make Americans mad? And sometimes when you think of people's sentiments about a certain thing, it really reveals that they are deeply flawed. The Bible says it's not what goes in a man's mouth that defiles him. It's what comes out. You got Paul Fernandez. I'm pretty sure Paul is angry at Trump because he has like a Hispanic girlfriend or something, or a relative who's probably going to get deported for being illegal. But he'll scream that Trump is a rapist with no proof of that because he wants to hurt him in any way he can. Paul has a problem with masculinity and honesty, and Paul should go see a therapist. But do you think Paul will do that? How do you say no in Spanish? No. Paul won't do that. What up, Alan? You in the building. Guys, listen, come up. You talking about all the BS I spew. Come on. This ain't Dean
What's going
Withers. This ain't Adam Mocular. This ain't Erica Shante. Come up. I'm not going to rip you down or try to play with you, play mind games with you. Come up and tell me why I am what you say. Tell me why I am what you say. We know you won't do it.
Well,
Even though the link is there. Go ahead, Alan. MAGA's weaker than ever. Trump's approval among MAGA, 100%.
Is kind of obvious.
Okay. What makes you say that?
Among MAGA, again, if you look at his overall approval, if you look at his overall approval rating, he's down to 30s. It's as low as it's ever been.
Among MAGA, his approval rating is 100%.
Again, if you look overall, that what kind of thing is that? You know, come on, that doesn't even make sense. His overall approval rating is down in the 30s. It's as low as it's ever been.
What are you talking about? It's still higher than the Democrat. It's still higher than the Democrat Party. In all presidents' approval rating,
both parties are crap right now.
Let me say this: all presidents' approval rating drops during war or any type of conflict. That's normal. His approval rate has been down for a month. George
W. Bush's approval rating did not dip just because it went into war.
Yes,
it dipped as it went on, but initially when 9/11 happened, his approval rating skyrocketed.
Listen,
if people perceive this as a real necessity, a real conflict, people would run to the jingoistic rhetoric and would go ahead and would rally around the president. People are not rallying around the president because they know that this is not a necessary conflict. And it's causing all kinds of problems for people at the gas pump and in other areas of their lives.
Oh, come on, Alan. Are you really? Listen, so what you're doing is you're engaging in a bit of revisionist history, and I'm okay with that because you're my friend and I like you. But here's the thing, bro. There were people, very prominent people, including Donald Trump, who did not agree with George Bush going into Iraq, right? They said many people came out, there are no WMDs there, blah, 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 blah. And the whole situation with 9/11, it was like Iraq was like kind of like George Bush's like knee-jerk reaction to that. Correct. He was like, we're going to go into Iraq. So people were like, one, Osama bin Laden was claiming he took credit for the bombing, and he's Saudi Arabian or something like that. What is he?
He's a Saudi.
And so everyone was like, wait, so Saudi Arabian terrorist bombs the World Trade Center and you're going into Iraq? You're not even going into Saudi Arabia or where this guy's from? So a lot of people saw the lack of like cohesion, or the lack of like cohesion when it came to what happened and the reaction to it, and they did not approve. It was record level lows for George W. Bush. And as the battle went on, his approval rating went even lower, especially after he tried to implement the Patriot Act. It dropped. He was lower than Trump. Okay. So we know that when we go into conflict, we know that the leaders' numbers go down because people feel the pain of conflict and they say, I don't like him very much right now. But it's been a month, Alan, and you're already writing off MAGA, which is crazy.
No, that's not crazy. MAGA is done. And again, and before I even start, I'm not going to go be one of these people who's going to go ahead and disparage you, because you are, no, I wouldn't do that to you, because you're a conservative at heart. And so, you know, I believe that you're genuine in your conservatism. And so I'm not knocking you as a conservative. What I'm knocking you for doing is pretending that MAGA right now is as strong as it's ever been. And it's not.
Trump's approval rating among MAGA is 100%.
Again, amongst MAGA.
That's what we're talking about, MAGA, Alan.
No, I'm talking about MAGA's strength MAGA had the strength to take over the entire Republican Party, which is what has happened.
MAGA is 100% in control of the Republican Party.
Years, MAGA is no longer in control of the
MAGA is 100%.
You have people like Alex Jones and all these people who are all the way on his side, who are
Alex Jones.
Jones.
People who make money off of dissent.
He's not making money. Listen, he's not even really making that much money. It's not a money thing.
Not anymore, because he got sued.
Yeah, he sued the hell out of him. But Tucker Carlson, whether it be
Tucker Carlson was never MAGA.
Tucker Carlson was a supporter.
He was never MAGA.
He was a
Tucker
supporter.
Tucker Carlson
a supporter.
was employed by Fox News. So all of his takes slanted right, obviously. And Tucker Carlson was a person who basically was like, this person is better than this person, so I'm supporting this person. Tucker Carlson was never MAGA,
but he was always a supporter. And now he has completely jumped off the ship. Candace Owens jumped off.
He jumped with the money. He jumped with the money. He's getting paid now he's getting paid by someone who is anti-Israel, so he has become increasingly anti-Israel. You don't notice how their messages have changed in like 2 years, and you're like, they're at the, if anything, right, you would be in the middle, or you go back to the middle if you were leaning right. These people went from right all the way to damn near far left. That's not natural shifts.
They're not far left. No. Okay. Tucker Carlson is not far left.
Nick Fuentes literally said we need to vote Democrat.
Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens are not far left.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Are regular Republicans who are not off the MAGA train. Donald Trump is in serious trouble in every way possible, whether it be health wise, whether it be with this deal in Iran. Sorry, not Iraq. He's in trouble in every way possible. He allowed certain people to go ahead and tell him that he needed to go ahead and do this invasion. It would be just as easy as it was going to Venezuela. And everybody could have told him that was not going to happen.
Let's stay on point.
He allowed people in Israel to go ahead and push him towards doing this.
Alan, hold on 1 second. Mm-hmm. Alan, you're sounding a bit Trump deranged right now. I'm arguing the facts, bro.
That's not Trump.
If you look at Tucker Carlson, all these people, you're talking about people who get paid based on which way they lean. And it's a natural move because as Trump has already won, it's natural to move towards the other side because whoever's in charge, they're going to receive all negative backlash that comes from the country when anything goes wrong, and very little of the credit when things go right. So they're positioning themselves now for 2028 when Trump is no longer around. But what I'm telling you is right now in the Republican Party, MAGA is in control. If Trump says, hey, do this or don't do this, they wanted to vote. They wanted to capitulate to the Democrats on the DHS funding. Trump said no. You know what they did? They didn't do it. Trump's in control of like the whole world right now. He's running shit. But what I want to ask you is this. This is the biggest question. Okay, we leave MAGA. Mm-hmm. Where do we go, Alan? As two conservative black men, where do we go? We go vote Democrat?
No. What's happening is this party is shifting back away from MAGA, and basically JD Vance becomes the president, and it's no longer JD Vance is not really MAGA. And he pretty much takes the Republican Party in different.
And that would be okay. That would be okay. There wouldn't be anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
But look, Mgon, I want you to come up and I'll give you $100 if you explain to me how this conflict is illegal. There goes the StreamYard link. If Mgon, you guys, as God is my witness, I swear for Jesse Jackson, if this guy comes up here and tells me how this is an illegal conflict, I will give him $100 of my own money. But we know
it's not illegal.
We know that. But this is what I'm saying. What you got to understand.
It's foolish.
Whether foolish, whether it's like poorly timed, whatever, fine, I'll give you that. But my thing is for people who tell blatant lies and then get mad because I won't agree with that. Trump was on Epstein Island. That's a blatant lie, and I can't agree with it. This war is illegal. That's a lie. I can't agree with it. And that's where we are right now. People want you to join them in an echo chamber where 90% of it is based on pure lies. I'm not doing that.
Well, we don't know if he was on the island or not.
We know for a fact because the flight logs tell you everybody was on the island, and they have the flight logs, and he's not on any of them.
He was on the flight logs. He was not on the flight logs that went to the island.
And Alan, we know that he was
Right.
what people
He
said
was on.
was
He was on his
first.
plane.
First, it was Trump was on Epstein Island. Flight logs proved he wasn't. Then it became Trump was on the plane with Epstein. No one's arguing he wasn't on the plane.
Right.
But who got raped on the plane? What woman was like, yeah, they took advantage of me on the plane? Where did the plane go? Where did they land? Where did Trump go after they landed?
Well, the things they allege that happened with Epstein happened usually in New York City.
Totally fine, but no one who said something happened with Epstein in New York City ever implicated Trump.
No, there was that one lady who said that she was there was one lady who came forward who said that she was the young lady that they were that both him and Epstein were alone with.
The one who bit him on the weenie?
Yeah,
who is she? What's her name?
I forget her name.
No, they never gave her name.
There was one lady who did come forward.
Anonymous person who keeps filing the case and then withdrawing it. Files the case, withdraws it. FBI interviewed her, says she needs to seek serious mental help because she's crazy. Come on, bro.
There's a lot to fear.
No, there's not a lot there. There's damn near nothing there, but we'll keep on acting like it.
That lady Dufresne, the one who committed suicide.
Dufresne said Trump never did anything and said that the Democrat Party redacted her name from the lawsuit because she refused to implicate Trump at their request.
But again, I'm not saying that she was doing with Trump. Well, let me make my point. My point is that there's plenty to fear because, in air quotes, she committed suicide suddenly.
Totally fine. But why would she? Why would Trump be? Why would she be under threat from Trump when she said she only met Trump?
I didn't say she was under threat by Trump. If you believe any of this stuff with the Epstein,
well, Trump's the boogeyman.
You know that this is way bigger than Trump.
They have listen. This is what's killing me. Mm-hmm. They have Bill Clinton in the pool with some chicks.
Correct.
They have evidence that Bill Clinton was on the island.
Correct.
Only person right now getting called a pedophile or a rapist is Trump.
Well,
am I wrong? No. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, you're correct.
Okay. What I'm saying is, listen. So what I'm saying is, why are we? We should be pushing for Bill Clinton to be prosecuted. That should be the number one thing everyone's talking about. But no, it's just a get Trump moment, bro.
No. We should be pushing for everybody who's any association with.
But we're not. We should be, but we're not.
Most people with sense are.
We're going, no, most people are. As a matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say this. We are going after the person who is least likely to have done anything more than we're going after people who we know for a fact did something.
I wouldn't say he's least likely. No.
He's least likely based on the testimonies of the victims.
No, there were victims who testified.
There was not a single one except for that one crazy lady.
Again, it was not just one crazy lady, but there was one lady who I heard in it. I wish I could find her name.
You never find it because it never happened, Alan.
No, I heard her interviewed, and she was
What's
on.
her name?
I don't remember. I don't recall her name. I don't. Of
course you don't.
But I remember hearing the interview on CNN. She gave an entire interview about her interaction with Epstein.
Alan, let me ask you this question. This is, and I know this is going to sound like a trope, right?
Uh-huh.
As much as they hated Trump, to the point of them trying to put this man in jail, they tried to arrest this man in Atlanta. You don't think that all these politicians, Democrat and Republican, who saw those files unredacted, you don't think any one of them or even one of their aides would have leaked that? We all know the world we live in. Bro, stuff gets leaked all the time, bro.
No,
things get leaked all the time.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, why?
Because this is such a the Epstein thing was such a big thing, and so many people were involved and implicated that on both parties. That there's too many powerful people, and that I tell people all the time, we're never going to know. Nobody's ever going to get prosecuted. Nobody's ever going to get prosecuted for this.
Alan, listen, my man. Mm-hmm. They could have literally only released the part with Trump naming it. That's what I'm trying to tell.
That was never going to happen.
But bro, what are you doing? Bro, they did. Come on, bro. You're telling me that they couldn't just say this is the Epstein file, right? Mm-hmm. Say this is the Epstein file. all throughout this bitch, it got all our names. But this one paragraph right here got Trump in it. You telling me they can't just release that one paragraph and be like, this is a paragraph from the Epstein files that implicates that Trump did this to this person on this time and this day, or to an anonymous person, but we all know the person's name. Let's indict this dude and bar for bread. Alan, if you really sit back and use your reasoning ability that you shut off right now, they could have easily done that. And the amount of hatred for Trump, people would have accepted that. People would have accepted that right on its face and been like, he's never going to be president again. They could have easily did that.
And the reason being is that there are people of all, points
but
of life.
You can redact their names. Listen. Again,
but nobody, they're not going to release any of their names.
Family. Alan, listen to me, Alan. You're a teacher, Alan.
Yeah.
They've already redacted names. I
Correct.
can redact the names of everyone else and only expose the name of Trump. And no one would question that. No one would question that because of the level of hatred for Trump in the country. And you know that, Alan.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
But people would accept that. But the point is, the greater point I'm trying to make is, this thing is so big and encompasses so many powerful people.
I totally understand what you're saying, but what I'm telling you,
that none of these names are getting released.
Do you listen, bro?
None of the names, and nobody's getting prosecuted.
Listen, what I'm telling you is they could have released only Trump's name, and then if Trump came out and said, well, this person and this person and this person was implicated, they just dismiss it like, hey, it doesn't matter. He's just saying that because he got indicted, right? Listen, bro, they could have indicted Trump easily, just as easily as they indicted him in New York City. I'm telling you, I can tell you right now, there is nothing in those files that's going to implicate Donald Trump. I'm telling you. And I know that because the sheer amount of hatred that the Democrats and Republicans have for him, they would have released one sentence with his name in it and totally redacted everything else if they thought that that would help them win the presidency, Alan. And you and I both know that that's true.
And you and I both also know that there's so many people who are
they can redact them. They've redacted every damn thing else.
But the fact of the matter is that all these people are going to be dead before we ever know the truth of what those files actually hold.
Totally fine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is they can take out one people. Bro, have you ever been on trial before?
Not really.
I've been on trial for some serious stuff. Bro, I've seen people get offered immunity to tell on you. And they will totally redact their name, everything from the testimony and be like, but this anonymous person told on this person and said that he did X, Y, Z, and he was the trigger man and da-da-da-da-da. And in the future, when people look back at the case, that person's name will never be revealed, dude. They do it every day in the court of law. So you're trying to tell me that if Trump's name was in there, these people hated this man and would have done they had damn near was ready to destroy the country to keep this guy from being president. So you telling me they couldn't do something that they do in courtrooms all over America on a daily basis just to sink Trump's presidential campaign? Think about it. Remember the journalist who was working with Epstein to sink Trump. What did the journalist ask Epstein? He said, "Oh, we could get Trump on the massages." What did Epstein say? But he never got a massage. So you're telling me that a person who Epstein said didn't even go as far as getting a damn, even I would have got a massage. I mean, if the person was of age, I'd have been like, cool, rub some oil on the brother, right? I ain't doing nothing wrong. Epstein said he didn't even go as far as getting a massage. But you're going to tell me that this guy was on the island, raping people and all that stuff. Come on, Alan, it don't add up. Like anybody with a brain can tell. That doesn't make sense.
But I never said he was on the island. I never said
No, this was off. The massages took place off the island.
Right. The massages were in New York City.
And Trump didn't even get a massage.
Right. But there are people who allege that Trump
Don't tell me right, but you're not really saying, right, you're saying, okay, but this. I'm telling you, Epstein out his own damn mouth said Trump never even got a massage, bro.
Well, listen, Epstein was in a.
I'm listening, but nothing's gonna change that fact.
Listen, and I get that, but the point I'm trying to make to you is that there's a whole lot of people who did a whole lot of things on Epstein Island.
And I don't care about a damn one of them because they're not president.
Some of which we know, right? We know about Bill Gates.
I don't give a damn about Bill Gates. That's a Democrat problem, and they still gonna vote Democrat. And if they nominated Bill Gates to be president, there are 65 million Democrats who will still vote for him, knowing he caught an STD on Epstein Island and gave it to his wife. They don't care about no damn. People don't give a damn. Dude, you're telling me that a group of people who want to mutilate the genitalia of children suddenly care about somebody getting molested? That don't even make sense.
No, it doesn't. But what point I'm trying to make is this is so big that, again, everybody's looking out for everybody because everybody's implicated.
But we're talking about the president.
And what I would like to see, regardless if it's the president, former president, Bill Gates, et cetera, that all these names were to come up. But that's never, ever going to happen.
Let me ask you a very simple question, Alan. Mm-hmm. If me and you did some dirt, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the G, we robbed some folks. We knocked some old ladies over the head and took their purse, right? And then years later, I'm the president of the United States, right? And you get arrested. They coming for you, bro. For whatever reason. They trying to get you on some petty shit. Federally. And you like, B got the power to get me up out of this. And I'm just saying nothing. You ain't gonna bring up when we was knocking over them old ladies back in the day? Or at least threaten to do it? Like, bro, if you don't help me, I'm about to spill all the beans. You ain't gonna do it?
When it comes to something this big, people don't do those.
No. I want to know what you gonna do. Are you gonna threaten to tell on me to save your skin?
No, I'm not gonna do
Alan,
that.
Alan, come on, bro. If I'm not helping you, and I have the power with the stroke of a pen to get you off the hook, and you feel like you didn't do nothing.
Again, you're comparing small crimes to what would be what could potentially be the largest conspiracy of sexual deviancy.
But what I'm telling you is that's the beauty of this. The larger the crime is, Alan.
Different.
No, Alan. The larger the crime is, the more likely you're going to call in favors. The more greater the consequences are, the more likely you're going to call in favors. And what I'm telling you is if someone was doing something to me that could have barred me from running for president, even though I know I'm the leading candidate for the presidency, I would have been like, I'm snitching on everybody. But see, Trump couldn't snitch on nobody because he had already told on Epstein. He already told on Epstein. I'm telling you.
Epstein. What he did, he made up a ridiculous. No,
he
Trump
made up
ridiculous
he
stories. He made up stories about how he kicked Epstein out because he was stealing employees and all this other foolishness.
What do you
that we know is not true. We know for
how
a fact.
Do you know that's not true? How do you know that's for a fact?
That's not true. Donald Trump.
What are you talking about, Alan?
Let me finish, and I'll tell you. Donald Trump knew for a fact that, as he had admitted in public many times, that he knew Epstein and he knew that he had young girls. They have that card that he sends and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, now that he's
what did the card say?
He's out there saying it was in the shape of a naked woman.
What did the card say?
But I forget what it said, but it's in the shape of a naked woman.
Anyway, so a card in the shape of a naked woman is now illegal. That means you're a criminal or rapist.
Let me finish.
I'm asking you a very simple question.
But I wasn't finished with my point. My point is that he comes out and instead, and contrary to all the interviews he's given before, where he's telling the truth about how everybody knew that Epstein had girls and they were quite young. He's on video saying this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Now he's saying that he's distanced himself from the man because he stole employees, right? Which
you do know investigators are saying this. Trump is not the only one saying this.
the stealing of employees was not just the stealing of employees; it was the acquisition and recruitment of young girls from
Bro, listen.
from Mar-a-Lago.
So
That's
Trump
what
was recruiting young girls from Mar-a-Lago.
No, Trump wasn't doing it. I said Epstein.
So if Trump wasn't doing it, what's the issue?
The issue is that he's not telling the full truth about why he distanced himself from Epstein.
How do you know it's not the full truth? Alan, were you there?
It's not the full truth.
How do you know?
The full truth is that he was not just taking employees from Mar-a-Lago. He was taking young girls, and him and Ghislaine were taking employees from there. That's number one. And so he was aware, as everybody
you just said
of the recruitment of the recruitment.
You just said he wasn't just listen. You just did double speak. You said he wasn't just taking employees. Him and Ghislaine were taking employees.
No, they were taking employees and take them.
Are you saying they were taking young underage girls from Mar-a-Lago to Epstein Island? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying they were taking those girls to Epstein. Yes, they were.
Are you telling me that they were taking underage women, children,
not
from Mar-a-Lago?
They were not taking.
So these women were 18 years and older, right?
They were young women.
So you can't take a grown motherfucker nowhere. They gotta agree to get on a plane and go with you.
Again. He doesn't ever really recently. I'm not going to say he ever did. He used to tell a different story than the story.
What was the story he used to tell?
He used to tell was that he was very aware that Epstein was taking young girls,
young women.
Oh, he said young girls.
And they were young girls are under 18. You just said they weren't under 18.
He said quite the ones from Mar-a-Lago. I said.
Were they underage? Were they young girls or were they young women? Alan,
not the ones from Mar-a-Lago. But the point I'm trying to tell
you're moving around a lot. This is getting shifty.
Not moving around a lot.
I'm just asking straight.
People can hear what's being said.
Was Trump aware that Epstein was taking young, underage, under 18-year-old girls from Mar-a-Lago to Epstein Island?
Not from Mar-a-Lago, because Trump was not hiring girls who were underage at Mar-a-Lago. So I'm not saying they took them from Mar-a-Lago. What I'm saying is Trump was always very aware that he was taking young girls, yes, from Mar-a-Lago, but he was also very aware of his activities in taking very young girls.
So Trump knew he was taking children to Epstein Island.
There are interviews, not children, but teens.
Okay, but what I'm telling you is the women who went to Epstein Island and were victims, 0 of them implicated Trump in any wrongdoing. They actually said they never even met Donald Trump, except for one. That was the Gouffre chick. And she said that's because he was her boss and she only met him once and he was a total gentleman. Then she got lured to work at Epstein Island by Jeffrey Epstein, and him and Ghislaine forced her to have sex with Prince Andrew. These stories are out there. She wrote a book.
I got you. She wrote a book. She had a very good documentary on Netflix. I encourage everyone to watch.
You guys should. Wait, hold on real quick. I'm talking to the audience real quick. What you guys should do, instead of telling me you're defending Trump, what you should think is, if this dude who's not even a lawyer can easily dismiss all this hyperbole and bullshit that's being said about what ifs and things we can't know, how much easier is it going to be for lawyers to tear this up? The lawyers tore up the case against Diddy with no effort. And they had a person who literally participated in every freak off as a key witness.
Again,
that's why I keep telling you guys the Epstein files is a dead end, because if there is any shadow of a doubt, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. There's so many reasonable doubts that are in there. Like when they said that Michael Jackson was on Epstein Island, bro, this is not true. He never was on Epstein Island. But Elvis Presley was on Epstein Island.
Well, first of all,
this says this in the Epstein files.
Who said Michael Jackson on Epstein Island?
It says it in the Epstein files, man. There's all types of crazy stuff up in there.
Oh, come on.
No, I swear. I swear.
You're telling me you don't believe
that Michael Jackson was on Epstein files.
Well, I've never seen anywhere where they said Michael Jackson was on the Epstein Island. Never, right. I've never seen that. I've seen him being on planes. A lot of celebrities were using the planes and loved to get on private jets, but I never saw anything where he was on the island. Plus, I think Michael Jackson's gay, but that's the precise point. that's
Don't nobody. Hey, ain't gonna be no Michael Jackson slander on this
channel. I know Michael Jackson fans
don't play, bruh.
Completely irrational.
Not to get jumped on. We're gonna get on a flight and come get your ass.
I know. People love Michael. Candace loves Michael Jackson too. It defends him all the time. But I'm not one of those people who's enthralled with Michael like that. But I will say this: Michael's never was never wrong. I never read anything where he was on the island. But my greater point was that all these people are guilty, and the prince, that dummy,
all of them are guilty. Alan, they haven't even had a trial. You declared them guilty.
Put out there. There's a lot of guilty people. I don't know who was guilty. A lot of guilty people.
This man Alan don't know a single name, but he know they're guilty.
I do know names.
Who? Tell me who's guilty.
Listen. The point is that a lot of celebrities and a lot of very rich and famous people, we know for a fact Bill Gates is guilty.
Oh, of course, he gave his wife STD.
Right.
And notice Bill Gates wasn't like, well, Trump was there.
Right. So that's the point. Well, if Bill Gates knows to keep his mouth shut. All these people are keeping their mouths shut. This is possibly one of the greatest conspiracies of all time. I remember the first time I heard about this Epstein Island, I was listening to Joe Rogan. And Rogan was talking about there's a guy in Florida. He has an island. It's a sex island, stuff like that. And I said, I think Joe Rogan's been taking a few too many shrooms. That's not possible for there to be an island where kids are being taken and people are getting raped. Sure enough, it ended up being the truth. So anything's possible in this world. Things that I never would have even imagined could be true are true.
Well, we know that's a general statement. Like there's all types of unimaginable things that could be true, Alan. But what you said has taken me no closer to the truth or facts than.
But you're asking me to solve the entire Epstein case, and that was even the original topic. The original topic is MAGA is MAGA's weaker or stronger? And from my perspective, MAGA is as weak as it's ever been. Donald Trump is as weak as he's ever been, both physically and politically.
Listen to this.
And he's in a world of trouble in pretty much every way possible because he took bad advice and decided to go over to Iran for no really good reason.
Okay, that's one thing. We could debate that in a second. But look, okay, so here's the people who were on Epstein Island that are dead, that were dead before any of this happened. Michael Jackson, Stephen Hawking, Walter Cronkite, Princess Diana and Elvis Presley, Janis Joplin.
The Janis Joplin and Elvis Presley is not even possible.
Dude, even Princess Diana's not possible. She died a long time ago.
Right. We know Stephen Hawking was there.
Exactly. But what I'm trying to I'm saying that because these are the things that made a lot of like the politicians and stuff kind of pause with their like, oh yeah, the Epstein files are all fact. See, we're looking at the Epstein files as if these things are already facts. And none of this has been proven yet to be fact. And this is why, listen, this is what I think. And you can tell me if you believe this is possible. I believe that the Epstein files is such a good weapon against Donald Trump that no one really wants them released because the outlandish nature of them would basically take away a lot of the ammo that they're trying to use against Donald Trump. And Trump doesn't decide when the Epstein files get released because the court made the order about that, what could be released and what couldn't be released. But the victims have said that they're about to come out and start naming names. Guess what name they're not going to name? Trump. Every victim
how do you know that?
Says Trump because every victim has already said Trump didn't do nothing. Every victim except for the one who says she bit him on the weenie when she was 13 years old.
Okay. Well, I wasn't talking about that one. I was talking about the.
Well, that's the only victim that has mentioned Trump.
That's not true. There was the
name the lady who mentioned him.
There was the grown woman who came on CNN who said that Epstein and Trump was alone with her in that office building in New York.
But she was saying that happened when she was 13.
She didn't say that when she was 13.
Yes, she did. That's the same woman. She's an adult now.
Yeah, she's a grown, well, very grown woman now.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like, listen, I do more research than the average person, and I like Trump. So listen, bro, when I was young,
What
I
is
grew
it
up
like Trump? Quite frankly,
I just
interpersonally, especially.
Personal question. Personal question.
Yeah.
What I like about Trump is a real leader, right? All these years with Biden, even with Obama, we didn't have real leadership. We kind of just had people who were going along with whatever their parties thought was best. Like when Obama had the super majority, and everybody was like, why don't you just get rid of the filibuster? Why don't you just pass the Affordable Care Act, force it through with a majority vote and all that? He was like, no, I want this to be a bipartisan thing. Bro, those guys really came off as like playing the game versus like Trump, where he's kind of like, I'll play the game with you to a certain extent. But when I want something done, it needs to get done. That's why I think with Trump. And I feel like Trump will always have support because, like I said, where else are people gonna go? You can't, the only person you can bring up as an alternative to Trump is Trump's vice president right now. Right or wrong?
That's the only person, because Democrats haven't presented anybody.
Exactly. So if they don't got nobody, why the fuck am I gonna worry about negotiating with them when I need to be worried about holding my guy accountable? Because he's the only option.
But your guy can't be held accountable.
Yes, he can. He can be held accountable. Yes, he can. Congress can hold Trump accountable.
He bounced out of every promise he ever made.
Here we go. Personal attacks.
It's not a personal attack.
It ain't about
backing
out of a promise is a personal thing, bro.
To MAGA. Hold on. To MAGA.
That's a lie.
It's absolutely true.
He ran on deporting illegal immigrants. He's doing that.
This foreign policy. I'm not talking about the immigrants, all that. This foreign policy is against everything that he promised that he would never do. And
no, it's not.
Yes,
no, it's not.
It is.
He said no. Alan, he said no new wars. This conflict with Iran is nowhere near new.
That's insane.
It's not insane because even Hillary Clinton said if she got elected, she would bomb Iran.
Right.
Even Kamala Harris talked about engaging.
Right. They're all hawks. But again,
when Trump does what everybody else was going to do, it's a problem.
Yes.
It's only a problem because it's him.
Because he promised he would be something different.
Bro, situations change, Alan. If you hear that these dudes are enriching uranium to 60%, which at 60% uranium can be used to make a nuclear bomb already. So you're going to, and they said, look, Iran admitted, this is a fact. I'm going to give you a fact. I'm going to give you two facts. One, Iran admitted that they had uranium enriched to 60%. That's fact one, and you probably agree on that. Here's fact number two. Fact number two is that even at 60%, uranium enriched to 60% can be used to make a kiloton bomb, nuclear bomb. So think, they technically already have nuclear capability.
Right, but they were not going to use it.
You can't say, you're going to tell me what a terrorist is not going to do?
Yes, they were not a terrorist government. It was not a terrorist.
They said they wouldn't enrich past 20%, but they did it. Did they not? They agreed. We won't enrich past 20%.
Right, but
they did it.
But then who ripped up the deal?
Bro, it doesn't matter.
Brandon, who ripped up the deal?
It doesn't matter.
Brandon, who ripped up the deal?
Listen, Trump ripped up the deal because they were not.
Thank you.
But
Obama made a deal, and they were set to not be enriched past 20%.
And they were already enriching.
And Trump came in, ripped up the deal, and then they just basically said, "Screw it."
Why did Trump rip up the deal? Because they would not let inspectors go in and inspect the nuclear facilities. That's why he ripped up the deal.
Because they had already had the inspections that they were.
You have to continue to have inspections like every couple of months. What are you talking about?
Donald Trump just ripped up the deal, and that's the reason why he created the circumstance under which this was even possible. And
Obama gave these people 100,
and then invaded based on this idea. Got all the way in there, and then gets to the realizes that these people were going to set up economic warfare against the United States using the Strait of Hormuz.
Economic warfare? They can't set up. How the hell can they set up economic warfare against the United States? They send
blockading
oil.
the Strait
They
of Hormuz
send
is economic
oil.
warfare, simple and plain.
We don't bring anything through the Strait of Hormuz, Alan. So how
They don't have you. We don't have to bring anything through. They have to. It is the oil that comes through there, and the price of oil went from $80-something to 100. But
that has nothing to do with us. That has nothing to do with us.
Because it has everything to do with us.
No, it doesn't.
The pump.
Those numbers are speculative numbers. When they see, there's problems over there, they raise the price. But guess what? If they shut down the Strait of Hormuz permanently, they would simply find another route around. They can even go over land and transport that oil.
They're
already doing it, Alan. They're already doing it.
No, what's happening is that Iran is waging economic warfare against the United States.
You're moving the goalposts around too fast for me, because we were just talking about how in the hell Obama gave these dudes $150 billion and they used it to build up their ballistic missile arsenals and basically prepare for World War that they knew they like.
Obama did not. To clarify, Obama did not.
He did.
$150. He gave the money that the United States had already owed.
Yeah, no, he gave the money that the United States froze.
Right,
he gave the money that. Okay, right. So let
which
me.
Is a previous deal that they already owed, and it's a way to go ahead and give them and get them to agree to the deal. He agreed to give them the money that were already owed.
Yes. So if Iran was so good, why did presidents who are not Trump freeze their assets?
I didn't say that Iran was so good. That's not the point.
That's what you're saying.
That's not the point.
They won't bomb anybody, bro. What the hell are you talking about?
That's not the point. The point is
that's the point, Alan.
That's not the point.
The
point is that it was never necessary,
Alan,
for us to go over there and
here's the point
without any sort of a plan.
Here's the point.
And we're okay to deal with it now.
Here's the point. You are okay with allowing terrorists, the number one world sponsor of terrorism, to get a nuclear weapon. You're fine with that.
That's not what I
That's
said.
Exactly what you said.
You've created a straw man.
Okay. No, I'm not creating a straw man, because if they already have uranium enriched at 60%.
Again.
When they let me ask you a question.
Explain the circumstances of
Listen, let me ask you a question. For civil use, for energy, whatever, how much percentage do you have to enrich uranium? For just civil use, like powering a city, or, this stuff, or running a power plant or whatever.
I don't know, what? 20, 30, 40%, something like that.
No, it's 5%, Alan. It's 5%.
They're going through an entire...
Listen, bro. For an entire country, you only need to enrich uranium to 5%.
Right.
But what I'm telling you is...
Obama had a deal in place, and instead of allowing the deal to stay where
Obama was an idiot.
Ripped up the deal.
He was an idiot.
No,
what I'm telling
Trump is the idiot.
Listen, bro. Listen, Alan. Listen. Use your brain. These people are enriching to nuclear weapons levels. 1. They are also building a ballistic missile arsenal that's bigger than countries 10 times their size. Mm-hmm. They can easily, in a week, enrich the uranium to 90%, make a nuclear warhead, attach that to a ballistic missile, and be like, we doing whatever the fuck we want to do, and ain't nothing y'all can do to stop us. So what you're saying makes no sense, because you can say, well, they hadn't bombed anybody, like somebody said in the comments. But here's the problem. Everything they were doing was pointing to the fact that they were attempting to acquire a nuclear weapon. And if we know that as soon as we give them money, they give the money to terrorist groups and then launch attacks on other countries, what do you think they're going to do once they get a nuke? They were preparing for World War III already, and you just too silly to see it.
No,
you just don't want to see it.
No, it's not. I don't want to see it. Everybody, the issue again was that simply that there was a deal in place.
That was set up about a deal, bro.
That was set up by Obama.
Let me ask you a question.
And Donald Trump,
even with Obama,
Trump ripped up the deal and created
they used the money
during his first term.
Listen.
Hold on, let me finish.
All right.
He created the circumstances in his first term by which he ended up reacting to in his second term, which was, that's the point I'm trying to make. This was not a necessary thing to do.
It was
Uh,
100%
it was
necessary.
it was completely unnecessary.
They
And
already had
and
uranium
most
enriched to
and
nuclear
most of
weapon
your
levels.
Republicans and most of your Republicans
You either
agree
you
with
don't
that.
understand or you don't want to understand. Most Republicans want to just make Trump look bad across the board, which is fine. But what I'm telling you is this: they were already at nuclear weapon levels, Alan. They were already there. And I'm asking you, Obama gave them 150 billion. What did they do with the 150 billion? They started arming. They started building missile plants, drone plants, and enriching uranium to above 60%. If someone's doing that, what do you think they're preparing for, Alan? Hello, Alan? What do you think they're preparing for if they're doing all that? Well, I don't know if he left or what. But guys, listen. If someone's doing something and what they're doing points at something negative or something that's harmful, go in, okay? If you walk in the house and your son told you he ain't gonna have no girl in the room or he ain't gonna bring his girlfriend over, but you walk in the house and you hear moaning noises coming from his room, what you gonna do? Sit on the couch? Oh, he wouldn't do that. He said he wasn't gonna do that. No. These guys were building a missile arsenal. They built all them drones. One thing about countries, guys, is you don't build up like that when you're not preparing for some type of war or fight. When y'all hear them, oh, they launched 1,000 missiles today. Those are war levels. Those are war level amounts of missiles. And I'm telling you, I believe that Iran was preparing for a World War III type scenario that they were going to start. I believe they were going to hit Israel with a nuke, and they knew the fallout from that would be global, and they were like, okay, we just going to be ready to just start nuking people or keeping people off of us as they try to invade. But nobody wants to listen to reality. Nobody wants to look at the evidence that was there. And that's okay. But I think we're a bit safer for going in than just saying, well, they wasn't gonna do that. That's just a hope.
Hey,
That's a hope.
I'm sorry. Somebody called me and I dropped.
No, you're all good. But I'm just saying they're building up their missile arsenal. They're enriching past 20%, and they're building all these drones. They're attempting to insulate their economy from outside impact or sanctions. That sounds like wartime to me. That sounds like somebody who's getting ready for a war. That sounds like someone who's going to do something crazy as fuck that they think is going to lead to people trying to invade them.
Well, here's something that you need to be clear about.
No, I agree with if you say Zionists are a problem, I'm not saying Zionists aren't a problem, but I believe also radical Islamic terrorists are a problem too.
No, radical Islamic terrorists are probably a bigger problem. So
they're doing more than Zionists are doing.
I agree, but
wait a minute. You got one Zionist country, Israel. You got 54 Islamic countries, all with some element of radical Islam within them. Come on, bro. 54-1.
Sam, what's his name? Sam, what was his name? Anyway, he wrote a whole book about it where he talked about how Wahhabi Islam stretches across pretty much every country, that Muslim country in the world. And so there might be about 3 million people who subscribe to that sort of logic in terms of
300 million, you said?
About 3 million worldwide.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And so that is that's where the root of the problem is. And even in my short time in a mosque, you would meet people would pull you aside and say, if you don't want to be followed by the U.S. government, you might not want to have any more conversation with that person. They're in every mosque. So I get that part of the equation. What I was going to say before I got cut off basically was that BRICS, Iran's part of BRICS, right? Mm-hmm. And economic warfare is
which is a failure.
BRICS is not a failure. BRICS is not a failure. BRICS is a success. And in that for the first time you have a viable group of people who can fight the petrodollar and are hell bent on destroying it. What Iran decided to do when I was talking about economic warfare is they decided by cutting off the Strait of Hormuz, then only allowing people to come through if they pay in yuan, the Chinese currency, is they've gone ahead and struck a blow against the petrodollar. It was a brilliant economic strategy that they're employing because they can't beat the United States militarily. And so that's part of what's happening here.
Well, they ain't gonna be able to produce nothing after a minute. So good luck, stroke of genius.
Yeah, you say that, but what Trump was tweeting about, or not tweeting about, he was saying on True Social, was unhinged, and was kind of scary and crazy, where he's talking about
that wasn't scary at all. Stop lying.
It was very scary.
Stop lying, Alan.
When he's openly talking about attacks on civilians, bridges.
He didn't say nothing about no attack on. He didn't say anything about attack on civilians. Please stop lying.
When you attack bridges, who are you attacking?
You're not attacking civilians unless they're on the bridge.
Again,
are they going to be on the bridge?
Alan. When you attack, if I bomb the San Francisco Bay Bridge, who am I? Am I attacking the United States government, or am I attacking civilians who are potentially on the bridge?
Let me. I asked I asked AI a very simple question that will put an end to all stupidity on this issue.
Mm-hmm.
I asked AI, was Iran, because someone said, where do you get your facts? Right? All you got to do is use Google. And Google ain't going to lie to you. They don't have a dog in the fight. They Democrats, if anything. What does it say right here? Was Iran enriching uranium past 20%? It clearly says right here, yes, Iran has been enriching uranium to levels significantly higher than 20%, reaching 60% purity starting in April 2021. That's way before, soon as Trump was out of office, they started enriching uranium past 5%.
Correct.
Wait a minute.
What happened prior to
Let me finish reading, brother.
Mm-hmm.
This level is a major escalation of the 20% enrichment resumed in early 2021 and far exceeds the 3.67% limit set by the nuclear deal JCPOA. So what I'm telling you is this is the limit. This is what you need to just run cities in a country, 3.67%. When you start going to 60%, you're trying to build a weapon. And you can say whatever you want to. There is no reason on earth to enrich uranium past 5% unless you're building a weapon. And I don't understand why people, and you're a smart dude, Alan, but I don't understand why you keep convincing yourself that, no, they were just doing that just because.
That's not what I said.
But why do you need to enrich past 5% if you're not building a weapon?
Regardless of the building, the reason being,
I just want you to answer my question.
But I've answered it a couple times.
No, you did not.
The deal that was set up that they're talking about, that
it has nothing to do with the deal. You don't need to go past 5%.
If you rip up a deal and the people zoom past the limits that you set in the deal that you ripped up,
right?
Again, that's the reason why you keep the deal in place.
Oh my God, are you guys dense? A deal do not prevent somebody from doing something.
No,
they can make all types of deals.
When you rip up the deal, all bets are off.
Oh my God. Okay, all bets are off, right? So right. They said, fuck it. We gonna go past 5%.
That's what I just said. That's why I said that a while ago.
Okay, so what I keep trying to tell you, Alan, is if they said F it, we going past the nuclear weapons levels, and then we went in and bombed them because we know if you're going past 5%, you're trying to build a weapon. Why do you have a problem with us?
Because the other option would be to reinstate the deal.
No, but if they don't agree if the deal is a deal that's not in favor of anyone's best interest, why would you agree to it if it's bad for you?
There again, the simple point I'm trying to make is there were other options that were already in place.
Don't you think they pursued those options?
No, I don't think
that's bullshit.
I don't think that.
That's bullshit.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you think Trump just walked in, fuck all this, and ripped it up? That's not how that works, Alan.
That's what he did. He did that in his first
Alan,
term.
Trump had a reason.
He did not.
Yeah. Oh
There was
my God.
there was not a good reason for him to rip up that deal. He could have avoided all this. He decided to go ahead and do
You're
all.
wrong, bro.
Well,
You're wrong.
I think I'm right.
When a president does something, he goes with his advisors. They say, Mr. President, this is a good idea. This is not a good idea. Whatever. Trump ain't no nuclear physicist or nothing like that. So we'll look at what Trump criticized about the deal instead of just being ignorant and saying he just ripped it up because he's orange, man, and he's bad. That's the type of shit y'all be leaning on and get mad at me because I don't lean on that type of nonsense. I look up the reason why somebody did something to see if I agree. So in 2018, Donald Trump withdrew the United States from the Iran nuclear deal, formerly the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, because he viewed it as a horrible one-sided deal that failed to protect American national security. So that's what he said was his reason. No, listen to Allen. Nah, you should just let them do whatever the fuck they
Again,
want to.
but he never gave a reason.
He did give it. You just didn't bother to look.
Then what were the
He
reasons?
did give it.
Well, tell me what the reasons are. You have the computer up.
His decision was based on several core arguments. The sunset provisions. Trump criticized the deal's expiration dates, arguing they only defer rather than prevent Iran from eventually acquiring nuclear weapons. So I agree with that. Why would you put an expiration date on a deal for someone to not be able to build nuclear weapons? They don't need nuclear weapons at all, so why would they ever need to build them? So here's the second one. Ballistic missiles. He argued the agreement was defective at its core because it did not restrict Iran's ballistic missile program, which could be used to deliver what? Nuclear warheads. And Iran had more damn missiles in that country than the whole damn Europe combined.
Again, what the world is learning, is that if you negotiate with the United States and get rid of all your nuclear weapons, all your ballistic weapons, and violate it. First of all, they find out that American can violate deals and then try to hold you to them at the same time.
What is this garbage you talking about?
I'm talking about the deal that we just talked about. Even your argument basically is, yes, Trump ripped up the deal, but we want to hold the Iran to these level of the deal that we already had them agree to. No, while trying to renegotiate all the other stuff, which is fine. You can renegotiate the other stuff, but not not in this way with force. Meanwhile, we're funding Israel and allowing Israel to do whatever the hell they want to do in the entire region and causing them to feel insecure.
You're trying to say, oh, we need to let Iran get a nuke because
that's
of
not what
Israel.
I'm saying.
That's what you're saying, because
let me make the argument I'm going to make, and then you can counter that. The point I'm trying to make is we can't go ahead fund one nuclear power to go ahead and have the only country in the entire region that can have nukes is Israel, and nobody else can have none. That's going to make everybody else feel insecure. We have to stop funding Israel and allowing them and giving them this capability so that people don't do that. The whole world watched the whole Ukraine situation. We had made them promise to not have nuclear weapons too. And because they had no nuclear weapons, they couldn't do anything. They were of no threat. Russia was going to walk right in there and destroy them.
Yes, but Russia didn't destroy them because the world rallied around them. And
the world is not rallied around them. What
are you talking about? We're still giving them money and weapons.
They have old men fighting.
Russia is getting whooped right now, bro.
Trump scolded Zelensky in the White House and told him he doesn't.
Russia is getting whooped right now, bro.
No, they are.
Yes,
they
are.
They have not moved from the Donbass region. They're not getting whipped.
Bro,
they have no power to push them out.
They're getting whooped right now.
Are they in the Donbass region?
Look it up. They're losing like thousands of soldiers a day, bro.
They don't care about that. That's how Russians fight.
They don't gotta care, but they still losing thousands of soldiers.
They don't care about losing thousands of soldiers.
But that means you're.
They never have. They fought that way in World War II.
That's fine, but it's not sustainable.
It's they think so.
I'm going back. Anyway, to why we should.
We're going off. We're going off.
I'm going back to why we should have let Iran build a nuclear weapon. Because that's what y'all. That's not what I'm saying. Arguments lead to that.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what
I'm saying. What I'm saying is we can't. What I'm saying is we can't supply one country in the region, allow them to do whatever the hell they want to do in that region, and then when people go ahead and then rip up deals, and then when they try to go ahead
bro.
and get these things, we're surprised.
Alan, you're
It's a
sounding
complete mismanagement.
Alan, you're
It's a complete
sounding crazy.
mismanagement. That's
You're
not crazy.
sounding crazy.
It's a complete
Israel
mismanagement
is
of
one
the
country, and there are 54 or maybe 57 Muslim countries surrounding Israel. Israel can't just do whatever it wants to do, because even if
they haven't been doing what they want to do the past few years.
No, they haven't, because here's
Oh
the
my
thing.
goodness.
Listen, Israel cannot, even with all their capability, they cannot fight all 50-something Muslim countries at the same time. Like, they'll get killed. They'll get fucked up. Everyone's talking about Israel, Israel, Israel. Israel is like an ant compared to all those Muslim countries, bro.
They are not. Israel's the United States.
Bro, Israel can't barely even handle Iran.
Israel
and you're
is
talking
the United
about
States.
Israel gonna beat down every Muslim country in
That's
the Middle
not
East?
That's not what I said.
So why
what
you
I
so
what I'm saying
Israel,
is that you
listen,
cannot have Israel in the middle of the region with nuclear capabilities and then showing full well that they're willing to and can
do you
do
have
whatever
proof
they
that
want
Israel
to do.
has nuclear capabilities?
Everybody knows Israel has
No,
nuclear. Why don't you
have
look that?
proof of that?
Why don't you look that up in AI? Why don't you look that up in AI? I'm sure that'll be there.
All right, let's look.
Israel has nuclear capability.
All right.
Shoot, even countries like South Africa used to have nuclear capability before the end of apartheid. So I don't know why you're so confused why Israel would have.
It says Israel is widely believed to possess a nuclear arsenal.
Thank you.
Estimated about around 80 to 90 warheads. Despite this, Israel maintains a policy of nuclear ambiguity, neither confirming nor denying its capabilities.
In other words,
and is not a signatory to the 1968 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty.
Again, they have them. That's there.
But my point is this, bro. You have other Muslim countries that have nukes, so I think it pretty much cancels each other out, because Israel got nukes and Pakistan got nukes. What did the king of Saudi Arabia say? He said, if Iran got a nuke, then we need a nuke. The Saudi Arabia is more worried about Iran getting a nuke than Israel having a nuke, bro.
This is true.
So I know this is why this argument, when you really address it and break it apart, it don't make sense, bro. Even other Muslim countries don't want Iran to have a nuke, even though they assume or know that Israel has a nuke. So you can't say like, oh, Iran's not a threat, but then all the people right there with Iran are like, nah, these fools is crazy. Y'all arguing, it's stupid to me that an American sits and tries to argue like they know more than damn other Muslim countries that are literally surrounding Iran. Those people know what's best for their country, and they're saying it. No, Iran should not have a nuke. Am I wrong or am I right, Alan? Are not other Muslim countries saying Iran cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon?
Well, they would feel uncomfortable.
It's a very simple yes or no answer.
Saudi Arabia would feel very uncomfortable.
And UAE would. All those countries.
Because of the whole Sunni and Shia thing.
Yeah, bro, but what I'm trying to tell you is, why are Americans so comfortable with the idea of Iran getting a nuclear weapon?
Nobody's comfortable with them getting a nuclear weapon.
If you're okay with them enriching the 60%,
that was never.
Bro, if you're justifying, okay, so if
that was never the argument I made.
Okay, then you should be in agreement with what Trump did, because they already have.
I'm not in agreement with Trump did, because Trump could have gone about it a different way.
It doesn't matter how he went about it.
That would not have the entire region.
What I'm telling you is
instability.
What I'm telling you is, if Iran has uranium enriched to 60%, they already have nuclear capability. You don't, I mean, maybe you don't want to accept that, but Iran already has nuclear capability, because you only need it enriched to 60% to create a nuclear bomb and make a warhead and attach it to a missile. Mm-hmm. So they're already at 60%. So what exactly did you want Trump to do?
I wanted Trump to go ahead and renegotiate a deal,
and they would have gone ahead and
hold on. He needs to renegotiate a deal, get many of the provisions from the deal that he had already ripped up.
And were Jared Kushner and the other guy not at the table with Iran negotiating?
Jared Kushner shouldn't be negotiating.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that at all.
Jared Kushner is not a government official.
Were Trump's representatives
Trump,
not at the table.
Jared Kushner is not a government representative.
He is.
He is
What are you
not
talking
a
about?
government representative.
Yes, he is.
No, he is not. What is
Oh
Jared?
my
That you
God.
you tell me, what is Jared Kushner's official capacity in the United States government right now during this term? Nothing.
No, that's bullshit.
No, nothing. He has no official.
Hey, listen. Jared Kushner serves as a special peace envoy for President Donald Trump.
A peace envoy. In other words,
an envoy is a representative.
Envoy. Again, he made him a personal envoy. That's not an official. That's no.
It's special. Special peace envoy, not personal.
Oh my. Okay. That okay. He was in the government prior, during the first term 8 years ago. But he was not. He does not have any official capacity in the United States government right now.
Well, yeah, he did have a role in the last administration, but not this one.
Right, but not this one. Right.
Yeah. So what's wrong with that?
He does not represent the United States government. He represents his own interests, and that's the reason why he's over there talking about leveling Gaza and building condos and resorts on the West Bank. He's out there working in his own interests.
What are you talking about?
Oh my God.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm just kind of like Jared Kushner. I mean, there's a lot of people involved with that West Bank, not West Bank, Gaza Strip.
Gaza Strip, that's what, yeah.
You said West Bank.
I did say West Bank. I meant Gaza.
I'm like, what the hell is this? That's why I said, what the hell are you talking about, dude? Okay. Stop playing.
I misspoke.
But what's the other guy's name who's there with Jared Kushner?
Oh boy, I'm tired. My names are escaping me.
Yeah. Hey, look, you're getting old, man.
I am.
Oh, Steve Witkoff.
I wanted to bring up a name so bad, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember. It's like I need.
So the people doing the good negotiations are Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, Marco Rubio, and JD Vance.
Mm-hmm.
So there are officials involved.
Right,
in that.
but
they probably just can't go over there all the time sitting at the table with these motherfuckers. But it makes sense because you don't want Iran kidnapping damn government officials. We got
motherfucker. We got JD Vance.
That'd be so bad. That would be so bad, bro. That'd be horrible.
You kill the Ayatollah. We got JD.
Song Kong. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's going to be the question, I think, going into the future. They already were at 60%, so technically already had the capability of building a nuclear weapon. And I think if you're not going to go in at that point, then just don't go in at all.
Well, I think that would have been better than what we have going on now.
No way. You tripping.
I don't think we should have gone.
These guys get power and then they go start doing terrorist attacks, bro. No, you can't do that. Yeah. They would have probably gave the damn Houthis a missile. Then what? Yeah. Or Hamas. Then what? Or Hezbollah. Then what? See, that's just it's too much of a risk. But people hate MAGA so much they're willing to.
There are other steps they could have definitely taken. What's the blonde lady who turned on Donald Trump? Who I couldn't remember her name. I'm sorry.
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring her up.
She was just an opportunist.
She was not. Well, yeah, but she was very, very MAGA, and now she's not.
But the good thing, what I would say, the takeaway from all this is that, Alan, we don't agree on certain stuff, but we do agree on a lot of things. But we don't agree on this. But we can still have a civil conversation about it and not be like, you're a damn Nazi and all this type of stuff. That's really the biggest takeaway from this, y'all. You got Karen in the street screaming somebody's a Nazi because they disagree with her political opinion.
Well, you're never gonna hear that from me because that's one of the 3 pet peeves I have in life is that every government you don't like. You compare it to the Nazis. Every job you don't like is slavery. Every man who you break up with is a narcissist. These types of arguments don't help anybody learn anything about each other or have conversations or make life easier for anyone.
Jian Kung said, "You're a fascist, 100%." Get the hell out of here, man. But that's what I think. Like, especially with the black community, I think that that's what we can give to the world right now. Like, just like show, and that's why I hate seeing black people getting dragged into stupidity, like calling people fascists and Nazis. Right? We can kind of back in the day, we used to call that like white people shit. Oh, that shit
Mhm.
white people do. Now I see black people slowly getting involved in that shit, and it's kind of like, come
Well,
on,
Trump. Well,
bro.
Trump is not a fascist.
He's
Trump.
triggering people. I mean, he's triggering people. But look, bro, if Trump was a like they said with the No Kings protest, if Trump was a king or a dictator, your ass wouldn't be protesting. Your ass would be in jail or dead somewhere, because that's what dictators and kings do. I was watching the movie Man in the Iron Mask the other day with Leo DiCaprio, one of my favorite movies, and the people of France were rioting in that movie. And what did Louis say? He said, execute this dude for distributing rotten food, and the next time the people riot, shoot him. That's a king or a dictator. Killing you is like clipping a fingernail. One of his fingernails. He don't give a damn.
Well,
Straight
not just
up.
that. Donald Trump's in poor health. He's not going to make it through this term anyway.
Stop it,
So,
Alan. You
so
sound crazy.
oh no. That's absolutely true. He's not going to make it through this term.
Was it true?
And
I heard he got admitted to Walter Reed today.
yes, he got admitted to Walter Reed. But it's a matter of national security. We're not going to know exactly what happened. I know those ankles are very puffy. That left ankle is very puffy, and that's definitely a sign of possible congestive heart failure. So I don't know.
Yeah, I heard his ankles are jacked.
His ankles are screwed, and that's never a good sign when you have that much edema in a short period of time in your ankles.
But couldn't you get like heart surgery to deal with that?
Possibly, depending on the issue, but he has other issues as well.
They're not that
There's
bad. I'm
one
looking
guy
at him
running
right now.
saying that he has frontal lobe dementia and stuff like that, and
Stop it.
and there's one guy who swears that Trump has about has weeks to live and stuff like that. He's
Man, these people these people are very much crazy, because when Biden was falling down the steps, they were screaming he was he was the picture of health.
oh
Then
no.
he gets out of office and they're like, this dude has like severe cancer.
Yeah, no,
So
I knew he was in trouble. When I thought the Republicans were making stuff up, but when I knew he was in trouble because part of my other job is I work at a nursing home, and I help pretty much pick up old people when they fall. When he fell on that Air Force Academy graduation, he looked like one of my residents, and I was like, no, there's the Republicans might be right on this one.
it's not even the fall, it's always the get up. That's
Yeah,
how you tell how fucked up you are. Because
yeah,
if you quickly try to scramble to get up and you just can't, you like, dang, that person's like disabled. A person who fall in there like healthy, they'll probably laugh and like reach their hand out like, bro, help me up real quick and like hop up, right? But he was like scrambling. Even when he kept falling down the stairs at Air Force One, like that was bad. Like, some of those falls, he fucked his ankle up, and like when he fell off that bike.
right.
I
And
know
they,
that
they, they,
shit
propped, they
hurt.
propped him up on the bike like they do all these presidents, so they can show himself exercising, and so they can show that he's a picture of health. And he is not. But Donald Trump is not a healthy man. Even Kennedy even said he doesn't know how Trump is alive because he's like shit.
Hey, look, chronic venous. What they're saying is he has a chronic venous insufficiency, or CVI. Happens when veins in the legs can't properly carry blood back to the heart. That could lead to blood pooling in the lower legs, in addition to swelling, usually around the feet and ankles. Symptoms can include legs that are achy, heavy feeling, or tingly. Varicose veins. I mean, they look pretty swollen. Not the worst I've seen, but
Not the
pretty
worst you've
swollen.
seen, but it's not good. And
It's not good.
that could be a cover for other issues because when that foot, particularly that left foot, when you can't get the blood or the lymph fluid
Lymphatic fluid.
going back where it needs to go, that's never a great sign. And his ankles and feet have swollen to like twice the size than they were before.
Why is everybody so mad at me in the comments, bro? Thank y'all for watching it, man. I appreciate y'all. I know y'all pissed off. Let me read this. Sucker Season LA says since 2021, there's no country allowed to make a new nuclear weapons. Period. End of discussion. Allen. Right. So since 2021, no country is allowed to make nuclear weapons. So to enrich uranium past 20%.
That's not a nuclear weapon. That's
the only reason you can be going past 20% or past 5% is for a weapon, bro.
And that can be negotiated.
What can be negotiated?
Or attempted to be negotiated.
There are countries that run purely on nuclear, bro. Like France. They run purely on nuclear. They're literally not even enriching past 20 or even 15%.
Right.
So their whole country is already running. Brandon couldn't even finish all Trump's reasons before he cut Brandon off, right? It's all good, man. As long as y'all know Trump has some reasons, which I'm with Trump on that one. I'm sorry, I'm with Trump on that one. I'm with Trump on this one. I'm with Trump on Venezuela. I'm with Trump on Cuba, even Cuba, because I just believe that the way the world is shaping out, like, I love what Trump did, especially when I see how NATO has like no loyalty to the United States. So it's like,
wait. We're gonna stop that. That NATO has loyalty to the United States. NATO is a protective pact. It is not a pact that when you go ahead and start invading people, that they have to back you. That's not how NATO works.
The thing is, we didn't even want backing. We just wanted to use the bases to take off from.
Right. And what they said is that was, you did not consult with anybody, even your own Congress, to even do this. NATO is designed as a protect.
They know the rules. He doesn't have to. What's funny is we found out that Iran has been lying this whole time about the range of their missiles, and that's crazy to me. That UK was talking all that shit, and now we find out, well, bro, they got missiles that can reach you, and now all of a sudden UK trying to get involved. Like, oh shit, they can touch us? Let's go. It seems like they simply didn't want to get involved because they thought they were untouchable. Now that they know they're touchable, they're like, all right, let's get involved. And UK ain't got no missile defense systems. They got nothing. So if Iran launch 1,000 missiles at them, they done. They cities is getting cooked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But Alan, we gonna get out of here, man. I still
got
to hit the gym tonight. So thank you for coming up, man. Hey, shout out to my brother Sucker Season LA. I appreciate you, brother, for the two $5 hollers in the super chat. Guys, we had a goal, but we didn't reach it. I don't know if that was because of me or because everybody is just struggling on this beautiful Easter Sunday and dropped a little bit too much in the collection plate. But I will see y'all tomorrow. And go check out some of the Sucker Season LA also said Trump is a genius. Now the world will be dependent on America or Venezuela's oil reserves now. Hey, facts. I see the vision. I see the vision. The only people who don't want to accept it are the same people who think that Iran is enriching uranium to nuclear weapons grade just because they can type shit. It's just naivete. And sorry, you can't afford to have that when you're the leader of the free world. What does it say? You stupid blacks who still haven't learned the difference between a white and a Jew are the problem. I mean, Jew is a religion. Jew is a religion. White is a ethnicity, basically. So white people can be Jewish, even black people. What are you talking about, bro? Shut up. NATO did us dirty. My brother's a jet pilot. NATO wouldn't even let our jets refuel at our military bases in the countries that we pay for. We had to refuel jets midair. Worthless is NATO. I agree with you 100%. We need to pull out of that shit, get our troops out of their country, and let them side with Russia if that's what they want to do. They're useless. I promise you, as much as these Europeans fought against Russia to end the USSR and fight against socialism, it's crazy because just years later, they end up all trying to become socialists. They might as well just went ahead and let the USSR annex them and been a part of the big. I think Europe is going to become like one big like socialist, a group of socialist like satellite countries. That's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be just like the book 1984. and they might change the name to Europa or something. But I think it's it's going towards that way. But understand, what you got to understand is they have no resources, bro. Like, they would be 100% dependent on Russia for energy, in the Middle East for energy. And then so whenever the terrorists want to really hurt them, they just say, well, we'll cut off the oil. We'll cut the lights off. And then Europe will be fucked. No, 100% Ghostface. They are our military bases. We share in these countries. They told us we cannot use them for any purpose. Unforgivable, 100%. We pay to maintain those military bases. Bro, I don't know if you guys know about the UK, but the UK is like, they're worse than Canada, bro. They can't fight no war. They can't fight nobody. UK would lose a war to an African country right now. I promise you. If they just went like straight up muzzle to muzzle, they will lose. Like, Iran can beat the UK in the war. Like, head up, fade. Iran will beat the UK in the war, without a doubt. They got 1 billion more missiles than them. They also got way more. They used to have, like, their Air Force was pretty damn good. And their Navy was better than the UK Navy. So, so I don't know, but it is what it is. Thank you guys so much for watching this. No, now they won't. Johnny Blaze facts. Hey, America reset their whole shit. All they only hope now is to build a nuke. But thank you guys so much for watching this. I appreciate everything you do for me in this channel. Till the next time, take care of yourselves. But most importantly, please take care of each other. Peace.